Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Quinnell. On Wednesdays, we wear the same thing we always do. Cody. Mr. Rhodes is set to take on Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in just over a week's time, and he's just had the premiere of his documentary American Nightmare: Becoming Cody Rhodes. Even despite his WrestleMania loss, which is still a creative error, I will die on this hill, things are looking up for Cody as he maintains his popularity. However, things weren't quite so peachy on his previous run in WWE, as of course he famously left the company and started his own promotion, though I forget the name of the place now. Must be some indie fed. And as had been mentioned, there seemed to be a lot of creative frustration surrounding that decision, with the Stardust gimmick, him not being used correctly, etc. But Cody has now revealed the exact moment he knew it was time to go. During the Q&A session at the premiere for his documentary, Cody was asked about his initial exit from WWE, and said that after speaking with his father Dusty Rhodes, he'd encouraged him to leave if he was so unhappy. He'd been mulling it over, but the moment that made him realize he should leave was at a WWE live event, where he approached a writer who was sitting at his laptop. The writer seemingly shooed Cody away with a hand wave and continued tapping away at his laptop. But Cody noticed that his laptop screen was actually blank, and the writer was quite clearly just pretending because he didn't want to talk to Cody. Cody said he was so angry that he confronted Triple H about it and said he wanted to punch that writer in the face, to which Triple H told him he should, but Cody instead left the company and made that company, what's it called? I can't remember. While the identity of the writer is unknown, Cody did also mention that the writer is still employed in WWE today. I hope they're doing a little more than typing on a blank screen though. But that's some heat there between Cody and that WWE writer, but I'm no expert on wrestling heat, so instead I'm going to hand it to WrestleTalk's weather reporter, Helen Temperature, who's going to tell us exactly how much heat there is. And considering this heat prompted the start of AEW, that's what it's called, there's got to be a fair amount of heat there. How's it looking out there, Helen?
This is hotter than your average Kane entrance. That's an 8.
Oh, you a big Kane fan, Helen?
Oh, yes. I think his movie is incredible.
His movie? Oh, See No Evil?
No, Citizen Kane.
Okay. Thank you, Helen. Elsewhere in the media press for his documentary, Cody spoke to Jimmy Traynor on SI Media and touched on his WrestleMania 39 loss, which is still a creative error. I will die on this hill. Cody mentioned that he was surprised at how pissed people were, saying that management within WWE were checking in on him and warning him not to go online after the match. Why? Were people upset? Were people calling it one of the biggest creative blunders in years? Not sure why people would do that, unless of course it is. But that's in the past. That's WrestleMania. Let's talk about SummerSlam. We spoke yesterday about some potential LA Knight plans that could line up for the show, which currently are penciled in to be a segment/angle of some sort, but he's not the only one. According to Works Wrestling on Twitter, while nothing is set in stone, Grayson Waller may be lined up to have some sort of segment with a WWE legend. This comes after his segment at Money in the Bank with John Cena and his interactions with Edge on SmackDown at Madison Square Garden. So I assume it'll be Cena again, where Cena will be telling the Detroit crowd that they should bring WrestleMania to their city. There is of course also the looming factor of Waller having Twitter back and forths with The Rock as of late. Could we be seeing The Rock return to WWE to beat up Waller a little bit? It'd be interesting to have The Rock on the same show where Tribal Combat is slated to take place between Reigns and Jey Uso, especially since we know it was the Elders' idea to have that match in the first place. So maybe we think we've got all of The Rock that we're gonna get earlier in the night with Grayson Waller, but then he makes his presence felt in the Tribal Combat match in the main event? I think that'd be cool. Another thing that may lend Rock to doing an appearance at SummerSlam is after taking a few hits to his image in Hollywood and beyond, he may look to curry favor by doing a feel-good appearance at WWE, but that is 100% speculation on my part. Now, as we spoke about on yesterday's news video, the angle that took place on this week's Raw, where Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest dumped Kevin Owens on the stage to distract Sami Zayn in his match against Dominic Mysterio, was reportedly done because KO had a legitimate injury. In a backstage segment, KO could be heard speculating that he had a broken rib to the doctors who were checking him out, and as we mentioned, there may have been some truth to that. But as it turns out, if I had a dime for every time that there was a legitimate injury that was covered with an injury angle on this week's episode of Raw, with the angle being carried out by Rhea Ripley, I'd have 2 dimes, which isn't much, but it's weird it happened twice. Because yes, as it turns out, the angle involving Rhea injuring Liv Morgan by stamping on her arm that was wrapped in a chair was also hiding some truth, according to PW Insider and Wrestling Observer Radio, as Morgan is reportedly suffering from a separated shoulder yet again, with Bryan Alvarez saying Liv Morgan does have a shoulder injury, and this was an angle to put her out of action for a while, and maybe a long while. I guess that is to be determined. However, it is reportedly the other shoulder, rather than the same one this time, as Morgan has only just come back from a separated shoulder injury. Which again, if I had 2 dimes for every time Liv Morgan had a separated shoulder, we at WrestleTalk would of course like to wish Liv well in her recovery. Wrapped in with all this, as mentioned before, is Kevin Owens' injury, and there's been an update on that side too. While there's still some uncertainty over it, Dave Meltzer did mention on Wrestling Observer Radio that he does have a fractured rib, and that he has in fact been working with it for a while. WWE had reportedly been waiting for a break in KO and Sammy's story to give KO the time off to heal properly. So I guess a week out from SummerSlam is the best time for it. I'm being glib, as it seems they weren't factored into the show as it is, so it is actually a pretty good time to pull the trigger. Them not being at the show was mentioned in yesterday's news video, as well as WWE is reportedly considering SummerSlam this year full with 9 matches. But even with all these injuries, Raw still did pretty well for viewership, all things considered, as the show averaged 1.818 million viewers, with some very fun numbers like Dominic Mysterio vs Sami Zayn peaking at nearly 2 million viewers. Dom is a draw. Now over in AEW, Roosh recently announced that he had signed with the company after back and forth and teases that he could be leaving. Now, Jose the assistant has chimed in with some extra information saying exactly why Roosh chose AEW over going elsewhere, presumably WWE. Roosh re-signed with AEW because of how much concern Tony showed for Roosh's wife and newborn. Family is important to Roosh, seeing how much Tony cared is what solidified the deal. There were other offers, but never any consideration to go. AEW cares, Tony cares about his people. Following this re-signing, CM Punk claimed Roosh as his own on Instagram, captioning the video of the re-signing with Collider, which is the name given to those on Collision. So I assume those who are on Dynamite are Dynamiters or Exploders? Exploders is much cooler. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio as well that AEW are looking to re-sign people to new multi-year deals. And while we don't know the length of this contract right now, it's fair to assume that this could have been one of them. Elsewhere in AEW, they recently put on their Blood and Guts show, which saw the AEW debut of Kota Ibushi. And while it was hinted that he could be appearing at more AEW shows, nothing has been confirmed as of yet, which then begs the question of what's happening when AEW comes to London for All In. Will Kota be joining them? Yes, please, I would like to see him wrestle. On Wrestling Observer Radio, it was mentioned that there's every chance Ibushi could join AEW for the show. In fact, it even seems likely, as while nothing is confirmed, Ibushi himself believed he's going to the Wembley show. Which seems fairly conclusive, but you never know, I suppose. Still though, it seems like Ibushi should be in London, which makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. And now it's time for my 1 minute, 1 take, where I will attempt to recount everything that happened on last night's episode of NXT in 1 minute, and in 1 take. Start the timer. The show started with a triple threat being made for the Great American Bash for Dominic Mysterio's North American Championship between him, Wesley, and Mustafa Ali, which again was made when Rhea said so on Dom's behalf. Dissension in the Judgment Day? Tony D'Angelo and Stax say they're going to win the tag titles, and a match is set up between them and Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, where D'Angelo and Stax won, where Screeps was on guest commentary. Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov won the How Will They Coexist tag match against the Schism. Von Wagner squashed the guy, but was then attacked by Bron Breakker. Gable Stevenson's debut match will be at Great American Bash against Baron Corbin. Glad he got drafted to Raw. Dana Brooke defeated Cora Jade in a kendo stick match. Holy sh**. She actually won something. Dijak cut a promo on Eddie Thorpe. Blair Davenport and Roxanne Perez brawled in a supermarket. Where have I seen that before? And a pre-show 8-person tag match is set for Great American Bash with Metaphor versus Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, Valentina Frost, and Yulisa Leon. Thea Hale was training for a title match and lost to Tharios to break it up. Oh no! Rhea Ripley then beat Lyra Valkyria, and the show closed with Dragunov, Williams, and Hayes brawling ahead of the title match on Sunday. The NXT title match, that is, on Sunday. I basically got that, didn't I? I think that was probably a minute. I don't have a timer, and the screen that normally has the timer on it, the timer isn't working, so I can't see if it was a minute or not. But I'm pretty confident I did it. I'm pretty certain that the comments are going to be on my side here. I nailed that. Now, I mentioned yesterday's news video quite a bit in the video today, so why not check that one out, featuring me doing the Raw review too. Here's a clip. Just a wrestler, and has begun being an agent/producer for AEW as well, which, in case you don't know, involves being on a headset during matches, giving information to ringside, informing TV production of planned spots so they can be in the right